welcome to my channel. My name is Leslie Benavidess, also known as Airman and Hype. So from my previous video, I made a video on what to pack for BMT since I was leaving within those next few days. So today's video is going to be on my BMT experience. So I did leave June 9th, so it was in the COVID period. So usually BMT is 8.5 weeks, but due to COVID, it was cut down to 7.5 weeks. When I got there, I did have a little notepad to write in, but they did issue one, and I started writing everything in everything that I could, day by day, week by week, writing tips, writing notes. So basically, I went to the hotel on Monday, and the next day I woke up early, went to MEPS, and I shipped out. So we left, it was a bus ride. It was about a 4 to 5 hour bus ride from Dallas MEPS. So we were on the bus the whole time. And we got there around 4:30. So as soon as you pull up, you go to the PRC. You don't just like go to the squadron. So we pulled up, and everyone around us started thinking that they were gonna yell at us, just like the typical thoughts of military training. So this lady comes up in her uniform and her MTI hat, and she just tells us to get off the bus so we can go process. So we all got off the bus, we all lined up. She accounted for us, took accountability, making sure that we were all there that we needed to be, and we followed her into a building. We got issued our backpacks. They look like this, and it has like a lot of stuff like bottles, notebooks, toothbrush, toothpaste, just normal hygiene stuff that you're gonna need daily, in case you didn't bring it or you don't have any. And then you get back on the bus, and that's when it really all started. So I was in squadron 322, flight 544, dormitory Bravo 10, and so we left the PRC, we pulled up to the squadron, and everybody is like lining up, like the MTIs, they're all lined up outside the door, and they're just screaming and they're yelling, and I was in the middle of the bus with my duffel bag and my backpack. And so when we get off, they're like yelling at us to hurry and rush, and I'm like, I started running, and then I got yelled at for running. And so we go and we get a box dinner. So it's a brown box, and you go and sit down and you eat it, but the sandwich is super hard and cold and you can't eat, and the juice box is just solid frozen and you can't drink it. So basically you don't eat because you can't eat it. The only thing you can possibly eat is like the Oreos. So after you're done eating, you get assigned to your dorm. So like I said, I was in dormitory Bravo 10, which is the third level of the stairs. So there's the first level, the second, and the third. I was on the third at the very top. And so we went in there, and there was only like a few people there, maybe like 10 people, 10 girls there. And so they made us go and take showers, and after we took showers, we had to do some write down some memory work in our books. So when you get there, they issue you this book. So it's called a BMTSG, which is just Basic Military Training Study Guide. And basically all you do is study all the time. So you had to write down important people's names, like your squadron commanders, your the name of your MTIs, stuff like that. So we didn't know who our MTI was going to be. We didn't know if it was going to be a male or a female. And around 7 o'clock, we were starting to write everything down. More people started coming in through the night. So right before lights out, nobody knew what lights out meant, and that means like you're supposed to go to bed. So we were getting screamed. So there was a lady MTI that did come in, and she like started screaming at us because we were on the beds and we didn't know we weren't supposed to be on the beds, because they don't tell you anything. They just make you go in the dorm and don't explain anything to you. So she started screaming at us for being on the bed. She's like screaming that this isn't summer camp, you can't be on the beds and all this. And she's bringing in people through the night, through the next few hours, and we go to sleep at 9 o'clock. And around 2 or 3 more people started coming in. They were waking us up. It's called the box. It's like a box that's on the wall. It kept going off the whole night, so nobody was able to really sleep. And then, so in the morning at 5:45, the first few days we woke up at 5:45. So we woke up to the horn, like the big speaker plays. Hey, what is it? Is it called Reveille? Reveille, like the
Reveille?
Reveille. Okay, that's like this song, right?
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah. So every morning Reveille plays. It's the horn. It's the song, you know, the one that's like like that. It plays every morning. So it played, and all you can hear is like our MTI like banging on the door and screaming at us. He's not allowed in the dorm, so he has to like ask us if everybody's dressed, if everybody's up. So one of the girls like answered the door, and then she opened it, and we were just like standing there. We had to stand at the position of attention by our lockers, and he comes in with his 2 MTIs came in. And it was our main one and the training one, but we didn't know that one was in training. So he's like walking around the dorm, and he's yelling, and he's saying all like a bunch of stuff, and none of us can we just woke up, so we couldn't even process what he was saying. And so he made us get dressed, and we were only able to wear civilian clothes the first few days, because you don't get issued PT gear like when you get there. So after we woke up, we had to go eat chow within like 30 minutes. So we went to what's called the day room. It's just a room that we all kind of talk in and have meetings in. So we all went in there, and he's since we have chow, there's people that we call chow runners. There's 2 of them. So you volunteer if you want to do that, and it's like you bring in the flight. You're the ones bringing in the flight and representing your flight when you go up. So you're basically telling the MTIs that your flight is ready to enter the DFAC. So basically what they say is they have to march up there, they have to look at their appearance, see, make sure everything's good, there's no strings on their uniforms, they look good. And you're marching up there. There's certain steps you have to take, there's certain moves you have to make, but basically what you do is you go up there and you say your reporting statement, and then you say flight 544 dormitory Bravo 10 is prepared to enter the dining facility, and then they'll say something like bring them in and seat them, and then you echo back bring them in and seat them, yes sir, thank you sir, like something like that, something along those lines. And then we were also assigned like water monitors, which is one of the easiest jobs. Well, it's not the easiest. Like the first few weeks you will get yelled at because you have to learn drill, and some people do not know how to do any type of drill. So you basically just march in and then do your facing movements, and you're just giving people water. Like you have to fill it up and make sure it's there when people are passing by. There's 2 chow runners, 4 water monitors, and so then whenever those were assigned, we went to the dining facility. We were brought in. We were always like the last to eat because we were the last flight out of all the flights that came in. So I was on the east side, and so every time we went in, we went on the east side. So then later on, after chow that day, like this is like the first this was like the first actual day, like we were there full day. So it was Wednesday the 10th. So what we did was we told people we had to go down, tell people what size shoes we wore because some people don't have running shoes, so you tell them what size shoe you wear and they issue you like running shoes if you need them. So that same day I realized I lost my driver's license, and you need that, like so we were in the day room, and this was like the first time I actually got screamed at. So we were in the day room, and so we got issued these ID pouches, this exact one, and you need your ID. So he told everybody to get their IDs out and stuff and put it in the ID pouch, and you're supposed to wear it around your neck. And I'm like, I didn't have my ID on me, so I went to go look at my backpack, and I went to go look at my duffel bag, and I couldn't find it, and I was like freaking out because we got yelled at a lot. We just got there, so they have to yell at us a lot. And then I realized like I lost my ID. I didn't know where. I still don't know where, but I lost it. And then I was like, I did not want to tell my instructor at all. So I'm freaking out. My heart is like beating fast, and one of my friends that I already knew before, she was trying to help me look for it, and I'm just like, there's no point in looking. Like I lost my ID, and so I went up to go tell him, and he didn't seem like mad at all. Like he was kind of busy with something, so I think that's why. Because later on we had to dump out our bags. We have to dump out everything in our bags so they can tell us what we can have and what we can't have. So I have everything out, and he asked me for my orders, and he asked me if I was active, guard, or reserve, and I said I was active. And when he asked, I didn't ignore that he asked me for my orders. I just didn't realize what he said. So he just started screaming at me, like in my face, and I didn't really know what to do. But I mean, I lost my ID, so I understood why he was yelling at me. So I didn't get mad. I didn't get scared. I wasn't like that. But yeah, they do scream a lot at you, and they can scream like in your face. Because of COVID, they're supposed to be kind of at a distance, but they didn't care. That same day though, we did get a phone call to just tell our parents that we were there and tell them our address. So after you get that call, you have to hang up. It's actually scripted. I'm gonna show you a picture because I did take a picture of it so I can send it to my family. And then the next day, which was Thursday the 11th, we started what's called EC monitors. So it's basically just like 2-hour shifts of answering the door. Like if anybody needs to come in, there's a process that you need to go through to get in the door. So it's just like if somebody knocks on the door, you say EC proceeding, sir, or if it's a male, you say, sir, may I help you? May I see your authority to enter? They show you their ID, and then you say, please stand clear of the doors, sir, and then you say, gentlemen entering the dormitory, if they're the first male to enter. And we were also issued PT gear that day, which was good because our clothes were getting dirty and we were sweating. So yeah. And then Friday, we started doing a lot more like facing movements, learning them, because a lot of people didn't know how to do facing movements. They didn't know anything. A lot of people, it was kind of surprising how much people did not know. Like people didn't know their reporting statements. They didn't know how to do drill. They didn't know how to do a lot of different things. Also, we did do some, we did some medical stuff. So we went to go get immunizations. So we got our blood drawn, we got shots. I think you get like 3 shots, 2 in your right arm, 1 in your left arm, I believe. and you just get your blood drawn. Saturday we got issued our OCP hats, and we had to do a COVID test. So we were, for the first 2 weeks you're in a ROM period, so you're like being not quarantined but kept away from other flights. You're distancing yourself. You're not being able to go to real classrooms. Every class is done in front of a TV screen, like they just play it on the TV. And that same morning, we started waking up at 4:45 instead of 5:45. So we started PT early that morning, and their PT is very repetitive. It's basically just push-ups, sit-ups, mountain climbers, side planks, something similar to burpees, glute bridge. Nothing that's like too hard, but if you don't work out regularly, then you will struggle. So that is 0 week. Like the weeks go by Sundays. So 0 week was Tuesday to Saturday. So Sunday is the start of the actual week of training. So that was 0 week, and then the first week of training started on Sunday. So the 14th to the 20th. So basically like a summary of the first week would have been like, we're in our quarantine, we're keeping our distance, we're basically learning the procedures, the reporting statements if you don't know it, trying to get sizing done, getting medical done, making sure that you don't have COVID, learning your roles and positions, like the dining facility ones, the EC monitor stuff. You're getting yelled at every single day, every single second of the day. So everything is like very fast paced, but it's also like a lot of hurry up and wait. So you're rushing 1 minute and then you're doing nothing the second minute. So it's basically just, you have to study a lot, like study your BMTSG. They're just very strict on that in the very first week. So on Sunday, that's kind of like not a relaxed day, but it's more of a laid back day. They try not to yell as much on Sunday. So you're watching church, but they didn't have any services like in person, so you watch it on a DVD. And I highly recommend you do go to those services, mainly because even if you're not religious, that they won't bother you. They won't yell at you. They let you have your own time, and you're able to write letters. So that's another reason why I liked Sundays. And Sunday was also the day that we got rid of civilian bags. So we had to lock our civilian bags in like the closet of the day room, and you're not able to get in it, but if you need to get in it, they will let you. It's just they might yell at you. So around after a week, maybe around the 9th day of training, our MTIs did start talking to us a little bit more normal, like about their lives, and having like normal conversations with us, and so we weren't like as on edge anymore. We were, but like there was times where you would not be as rushed and not be as not with like so much yelling and stuff. Within the next few days, we did have to get a butt shot, like a shot on a butt cheek, and we had to go to dental to get an x-ray of our mouths, our teeth. And within that time, we did start doing PT by our beds. So we started doing push-ups and sit-ups and squats and stuff like that. Some people had like never worked out in their life, so people were really trying to like pass their PT test, because if you fail your PT test, you get recycled, and there's like no questions about it. So I encourage you to do like at least work out a little bit before you go to BMT. So that Friday, the second week that we got there, the 19th, we took our very first initial PT test. That was like, you don't work out for like a week when you're there. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we didn't work out. So it was kind of like hard because I did work out a lot before I did go to BMT, so getting back into a rhythm was different. And then that next day on Saturday, we were able to get phone calls. So we were able to make our calls at 8 in the morning, and we were all like really excited because, you know, it was like almost 2 weeks that we weren't able to talk to our families, which it doesn't seem like a long time, but when you don't have your phone and you're only able, like, you're around only strangers, it's kind of hard when you don't have anybody you know, and you do want to like talk to your family. So usually you get like about 5 minutes maybe. Our MTI though, he gave us 12 minutes. The only reason he gave us like that amount of time was because due to COVID, like a lot of stuff has been happening with people's families, so he gave us a little bit more time. So we got 12 minutes, and we were doing pretty good that week with moving quickly and stuff. So the first person I called was my mom, and she didn't answer. And then I called her again and she didn't answer, and so I called my dad and he sent me straight to voicemail. And then I called I called him again and he didn't answer, and so I thought nobody was gonna answer, and I started like panicking a little bit, and then my mom's name popped up on my phone, so I answered. And I'm not really like, I don't know what I was really expecting, but we were talking and it got a little bit emotional because I haven't left home, especially like without being able to talk to my family, so it was a little bit weird, it was different. And then I think like maybe 5 minutes later I called my dad called me back, and I talked to him, and I just like updated them, told them like I was all right, I was good, and that I was starting to receive letters and send letters, so they were just expecting that. I told them to like write me a lot, and after, I don't think he gave us the full 12 minutes. It felt like it was like way less than that, probably maybe about 10 minutes. But then I called my older sister. I talked to her for maybe 2 minutes, and that was it. We had to hang up. After we hung up, we had to like return our phones, turn them off and stuff, and everybody was like crying. Everybody was super emotional and it was like, it was just like a room full of girls crying. And then the MTI that we had that was in training, he started like tearing up. He was in training, so he's never like been around, he hasn't been around like any flights or any type of like a bunch of emotional females. And so our MTI, he gathered us around, he asked us if anything was wrong, if anything, any bad news, any good news, and some people shared, some people didn't. And then a few minutes later, he told us to go in the day room, and he left the room and just told us to talk. So we sat in a circle, and some people shared their good news, a lot of people shared their bad news and good news, stuff like that. And it did make us closer, because some people, like, I didn't realize it before, but some people like really don't have anybody. I know there was like one person that never made a phone call except the very last week of training. So the second week of training was the 21st to the 27th. That Sunday, that was our first Sunday with like nobody to guide us. Like we had no MTI. That day we ordered like our squadron shirts, and those are pretty cool. This one is actually my squadron shirt. So like I said, our squadron was the 322nd, so we were the Eagles. We were second to none. So this is how one of them looks. And that's the back, but then this is the front. Just plain. Yeah, so they're like $15, I think, or like 25. I think it was 25. They're pretty expensive for the quality, but wanted something to remember, you know, BMT by. So yeah, we ordered those. That following week, we had what's called 341s. So they look like, I'll show you because I have some. In tech school, you're still gonna have 341s because I'm in tech school now, and this is actually my 3rd day being here. So I just graduated 4 days ago, 4 days ago, and I never got a 341 taken, but so this is what it looks like. So you have like your name. It's always gonna be like your last name, first name, middle initial. It's gonna look like this, and then this isn't gonna be here, but this is just for like what you. It's like your squadron. Here it's different from over there. There's a few things that are different, but overall, yeah. So if you like mess up like pretty bad, like bad enough, they take your 341, which is bad. So that means like you get written up kind of, or if you do something like really good, they can take it and you'll get like a comment, but it'll be like a good comment, not anything bad. So it's not always bad to get them taken, but it can be. So then that next few days, within the next few days, we got to run for the first time. So it's been like a good 3 weeks since I ran, which was really weird because I was running every day like 3 miles. So it was a big gap between my running. Make sure you are running before you go to BMT if you're watching this video to get ready for BMT or see an experience, because we actually had a boy that like had to go to the ER because he was trying to run and everybody was trying to make him run, and he never ran before, so it was hard for him.
I'm gonna cry. I'm crying right now. Oh, sorry.
You're good. And then that next day we had another COVID test. You had to take 2 COVID tests because the first one, we were good, we were all clear, like nobody had COVID, and that's like luck because we had like 38 girls, so nobody had COVID. And then the next week nobody had COVID again, so that was another good thing. But some flights, I think like 4 flights had to go get quarantined, so they shut squadrons down, they took flights away. It was just like a big issue, obviously, because COVID, like, and you have to wear a mask. So you wear these, it's just a black mask like this, and you have to wear it all the time. I mean, we were around each other all the time, so we didn't really wear them like in the dormitory, but like when we were out we did wear them because everybody is always mixed up. That was also the same day that we did go to the BX for the first time. So just stuff that you need, you're able to get, like stamps, envelopes, writing stuff, highlighters, stuff like that, stuff that you need, stuff that you want. So basically, like, a summary of the second week of training was we started getting a little bit more privileges. Like, we started getting our mail started breaking into habits of what to do in the mornings. And also, like, inspections started happening. So like, you're assigned to different places to clean, so it's called details. So details means like cleaning. So for example, I was a part of the latrine crew. So a restroom is a latrine, it's not a restroom. Don't say restroom to your MTI because they'll yell and scream at your face and tell you that it's a latrine, it's not a restroom or a bathroom. So it's like you're cleaning the latrine and you're wiping everything down, and you have to make sure there's no dust, no dust on top of the mirrors, anything like that. So we started getting inspected throughout the dormitory, so checking if there was dust on top of the lockers or the beds or on the floor. And it was pretty hard because we're girls, so we have hair that falls out, I don't know. And we also started that week taking apart and putting together our M4s. We used to use M16s, but they changed it to M4s. It's the same thing. They're the same type of weapon, but I think one is like bigger or longer. I'm not sure. But we had to take it apart and put it together. And honestly, I thought it was gonna be like more complex than it was. It was only like you take apart 8 pieces, 9 pieces, and that was it. So I was really stressed before I even saw how you take it apart, and then when I saw how we take it apart and put it together, it was a breeze. It was fine. And then that week we also had graduation practice. So Saturdays is usually when you have graduation practice, and it's for like 2 hours, and it was like really hot, but at that time we were still wearing PT gear because you don't get issued OCPs until like the 3rd week of training. So it was hot, but in OCPs it's way hotter. We started getting a little bit closer and building more relationships with the people that were in our flight. We were separated from like A Bay and then the wall and then B Bay, but we still had to like work together as a flight. So we were always trying to like be really good for our instructor, because we knew that on Saturday we were gonna get our calls, and we did want like a longer time to talk to our families. So the better you were, the more of a reward you're gonna get. So we were not great. We weren't bad. We weren't good at marching all together. Some people like were used to like stepping off with their right foot, but you're always supposed to start with your left foot. So we had to get in the habit of doing that. Stuff like that was pretty easy to tweak up, but then we had like the issue with people and their hair. So my bun is I always knew how to like do a bun in my hair, but like some people, they didn't want to use gel or like hairspray, or they would have bumps in their hair, or their bun would be too high or too low, and they just didn't know how to work with their hair. So I highly suggest to know how to work with your hair and see what gel works with your hair and for your hair, because it can be a struggle. So we were assigned a dorm chief. She stayed our dorm chief throughout the entire basic training, which it was cool. But in the beginning it was all right. It was good leadership, but there was drama with it. There was drama with other girls. I know there was one time I kind of like snapped at this one girl because she was being like really rude and like disrespectful towards the dorm chief, and it just like, I'm not really the type of person to speak out like that, but I mean it happened. So the drama it wasn't necessary, and it's not necessary. So now to our 3rd week of training was from June 28th until July 4th. So we found out that week that 4 flights were out due to COVID. So they had to get quarantined for 2 weeks. We had to be like really cautious because we were out of quarantine at that time. Not out of quarantine, but out of our ROM period at that time. So we had to be cautious on what we did, and we didn't want to be quarantined or held back from graduation. So just hearing that 4 flights were out due to COVID, it was a little bit stressful. But that week we also did get to take our military ID pictures, which are not going to turn out good. I don't care how good looking you think you are. So you have to march all the way to the PRC wearing your PT gear, and it's like 108 degrees outside, and so you're sweaty, your hair is getting messed up, your gel's not staying the way it's supposed to be, and they expect you to take a picture. So mine turned out to be it looks like a mugshot. I think everybody's in my flight looked like a mugshot. It doesn't look good. And then that week we had classes. We had like a lot of classes. They're just classes like basic situational awareness, weapons, managing different things, your mindset, stuff with combat stuff, finance, and stuff like that, stuff along those lines. And then finally, on the third week of training, that Wednesday, we got issued our OCPs and our blues. It took all day. It took like, we got there at like 7, I'm not sure, 7 o'clock I think. And we didn't leave until around 3. And so we had to carry like this huge duffel bag. Like, I'll show you the duffel bag. So, it's like, it's big, and we have to put like our blues, it's like 4 shirts, a huge coat, a big sweater, jacket thing, 4 pairs of OCPs, boots, shoes. It was a lot of stuff. So then we had to walk back from there to our squadron, and with a heavy bag, and we had to march. So we were excited to get our OCPs because you don't want to wear PT gear when you see other people wearing OCPs. And so we were in a boot phase, which was horrible. I don't think anybody liked that because you have to wear like your OCPs with your running shoes until 12 o'clock, and then after that you get to put on your boots. So your boots, like some people I guess get blisters with their boots, that's why they do that, like a boot phase. So from the minute you wake up, if you have PT, you don't do this, but if you when you have PT in the morning, you wear your PT gear, and then after you shower, you change into OCPs and you put on your running shoes. And after at 1200 hours, you put on your boots. So everybody always wanted to put on their boots, and you have to wait like a week to be able to always wear your boots. That same week, I think we were pretty used to each other, like all the girls. I was in B-Bay, so I was like the closest to the door. Like there's like a bay that's close to the door, and then there's one that's kind of further away, and we were pretty close. Like B-Bay was like pretty close. We were pretty driven. We were pretty much like a good team. A-Bay, we didn't want to compare the bays, but like one slacked more than the other, and one was always more prepared than the other, and so it kind of like separated us because of the people that were in the bays, the different types of people in the bays. But yeah, so we were getting closer. We always played games, and then we started making like bingo cards out of our paper. We made a deck of cards. We played charades. We played Ninja, and we also started dry cleaning that day because we just got like our OCPs, and they have to like when you're getting like your you have to get your blues fitted on you. So like they write on it with chalk, so you have white stuff on your blues. So then you get it taken to the dry cleaners, and they take it off for you, which is kind of a scam because they know that you need it to be clean, so you have to dry clean it and pay out of your own pocket. And all washing everything is like, it was like 80 something bucks, something like that, and I didn't even get it all done because you can just wash it off with like some water. You don't need to take it to the dry cleaners. So basically, like a summary of that week would be, we were really busy that week. That was like that was our first week that was busy, like every single day. And it was kind of wild because like there was 2 flights. It was us and another flight that was getting our uniforms and stuff, and that flight was the one that was quarantined. So one of the girls had COVID and she was asymptomatic, so it was like she didn't have symptoms, and it was just we wanted to stay away from them. But then it got kind of boring at the end of the week because we had to cut all the strings off of our OCPs because you're not allowed to have strings because it's considered unprofessional, and that will get you a failed item if you were to get inspected. That was also like the same week that one of the girls got sent to medical. Something was wrong with her blood or something. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but she was taken out of our flight completely. So instead of like 38 people, we had like 37. So now on to our 4th week of training, which was from July 5th to July 11th. Also, by the way, for July 4th, you don't do anything. You don't do anything on holidays. There's nothing special about holidays to them. So even though it is July 4th and it's like Independence Day, you don't do anything. There's nothing special. You don't get like cookies or cupcakes. There's nothing new. So that next week, we got a new girl. Her name was Williams. She was a PT test failure. So she failed her PT test. She definitely, I don't know, she blamed her squadron because they didn't do 1x3s. 1x3s is when you do 3 types of workouts for 1 minute each. So you're doing like 9 sets total for 1 minute each. And she basically blamed them, and so she got recycled. So that means that recycled means you get pushed back like 1 week or 2 weeks or however many weeks they want you to get pushed back. So she got pushed back, I believe, 2 weeks. Yeah, that's what happened with her. And then so she was stuck in our flight. She was really upset about it, which is, it's for obvious reasons. And then so we played a game that night, and it was like a circle game. So we're all standing in a circle trying to get to know each other, and so it's like step in the middle of the circle if you're the only child, and then if you're the only child, you step in the middle. So just like stuff to get to know each other, and it did get really deep. Like it got pretty sad. There was some crying, there was emotions, but like it made us closer as a flight, and we had nothing else to really do, so it was something for us to get to know each other more. That same week, on Tuesday, we took our blues pictures. So the blues pictures, you don't really wear your blues, like all your blues, you just wear, you're wearing your OCPs, and then when you get there, you just put it over your OCPs. So I'll show you how that looks. It was really hot outside, like really hot. It was like 100 degrees outside, so my hair got messed up and it was sticking out, like this one's sticking out. So this is my picture. You can't really make it look better. This is my picture, and you see my hair like sticking out right there. So yeah, you just stand in front of like a backdrop, and then it has a flag by it, and they take the picture. And you also take your flight photo. So your flight photo, they tell you where to go. So like this, it says like Lackland, Texas. It has like our instructor's name. My MTI was Technical Sergeant Lozano, and then this one was Technical Sergeant Dunbar, and then Technical Sergeant Bruckner. Second to none was like what you say for your squadron. So like the 322nd Squadron was second to none, and then come get some, pride, character, excellence. And so second to none is like what we say. I'm up here, over here somewhere. And then these were the element leaders. They didn't all make it. This one was the dorm chief, but the other ones were the element leaders, and then this is the guide-on bear, so they carry the staff. Not all of them stayed with us. One of them was actually fired the last week of training for having an attitude. And then whenever you eventually get your pictures, I got mine like the second to last day I was in training, and then everybody like signed it on the back, which is pretty cool. Everything was pretty positive. Everybody wrote like a whole paragraph on mine. And then there was surprisingly a lot of fires. They weren't fire drills, it was actual fires, like in the laundry facility. There was a gas one in the DFAC, and there was another fire one, I believe, in the dining facility again. But yeah, that week we did have class all day, like for 2 days straight, and it was horrible. And the classrooms are super cold. And then that Friday I found out I had to go to the PRC to go get a top security clearance for my job. And so it had its benefits. I did not that day. The very first time I went, we had to answer a questionnaire, and if I had any advice to give, if you need a top security clearance, come out with anything that you did not tell your recruiter. Like if you have used alcohol or like marijuana or have a record or anything like that, because yeah, I didn't tell my recruiter everything. And top security clearance, if you lie and they do a polygraph on you, you will get in trouble. And they did tell us, they briefed us that you gotta pay like X amount of money, like it's thousands. So don't lie when it comes to a top security clearance. But yeah, I got to be on the phone with my family because I had to ask them a lot of questions that they were asking me, past addresses, past stuff that's been that I needed to know. And so I got to talk to my family. It was like having an extra call, because the next day on Saturday I got another call. Being that it was like the 4th week of training, we were preparing for upcoming PCs, which is progress checks. So we had open ranks, which is checking your uniforms, your blues, and your OCPs. We had to learn column left, column right formation, and we had like PT stuff coming up, like PT test, the next one, and stuff like that. So stuff was like showing up left and right, and we just like had to keep up with it. And we had like clothing appraisals, wall locker checks, stuff like that. And we were also trying to get familiar with the new girl that we had, Williams. The girl was, she cried a lot. She started a lot of drama. She was not the best addition to our flight, but she eventually got kicked out. So not kicked out, but like, yeah. But that'll be up later in the video. So 5th week of training was from July 12th to July 18th. So for some reason, people were really emotional that week. Like there was a lot of crying on that Sunday. I'm not sure why, I never asked, but like I know people were like missing their families. The new girl was crying because she was worried about the upcoming PT test and she missed her family and stuff like that. So people were getting pretty emotional by the 5th week we were there, 6th week we were there. So we were told that we were never gonna wear our blues in basic training, and then it changed. So we had to wear our blues that Monday, and they were so uncomfortable. And I wore, I'm supposed to wear black socks with them, but I wore green socks and then wore black socks on top of them, and it was tight. Like my shoes were super tight, and it was horrible, and you feel stiff. And there's like, blues are just like, you have to be very, very precise with wearing your blues. So I didn't enjoy it, but we didn't really do much that day, so it was all right. And then the next day, I had to go to the PRC for my top security clearance again. So I got to talk to my family again. And we also got another new girl. Her name was Heath, and she was actually in training for about 12 weeks because she broke her ankle and just so much stuff was going wrong with her, I guess. I don't know, but so yeah, she was there for 12 weeks. She was there for 12 weeks, and it took her a while. She seemed like she didn't want to talk or open up or anything at first, but eventually she got there. So the next day, on Wednesday, we had our final PT test. So I got the highest I got the highest amount of push-ups. Some people got like 70 sit-ups, and I don't know how you do 70 sit-ups in a minute, but like that was pretty impressive. And then I got the third fastest run time. One of the girls was she was like a distance runner, like she was in track or something, and so she ran it in like 10 minutes and some amount of seconds. And then the other girl, they were both our PT monitors. She got 11:15, I'm gonna say, I'm not sure, but like they did really good. So yeah, so everybody except two passed the PT test. One of the girls failed. It was pretty rough losing her because she was gonna get another chance to take the test again the next day, and they didn't let her. She just got recycled, so she moved back 2 weeks to another flight. And then the girl that got put into our flight for failing the PT test, she failed it again. So she you can't get recycled again, so she was like gonna get kicked out of the Air Force, and she's trying to fight it. Like she got like people involved for it. I don't know what that means, but I know she was not trying to leave. So the next day, on Thursday, we had a courtesies progress check. So that means like you're saluting an officer and you're talking to them and you're entering a room. So you have to do like this entire process just to talk to the officer. So it's basically a progress check to see how well you do it and see if you remember all the steps. And that same day, that was my birthday, so I turned 19 when I was in BMT. And you would think that it wouldn't be like cool or anything, but it was probably like the best day that I had there. Like the minute that I woke up, one of the girls, her name was Watts, she actually like, you know, screamed like happy birthday. She yelled it, and like the other girls were telling me happy birthday. And then throughout the day, the girls were like telling me happy birthday, and like a lot of them thought it wouldn't be a lot of them were like, oh, I'm sorry, your birthday is being celebrated here, like at BMT. And I was like it was nothing bad. It was everything was good. You're not like allowed to go to like the mini mall and like go get anything or like get presents or like anything like that. I wasn't even expecting any of that, but like the girls like gave me peanut butter, like little things of peanut butter, and peanut butter is like the ultimate food in BMT because it's the only thing that actually like has flavor and has like sugar and stuff. And so it was pretty cool like getting it, even though you're not supposed to like do that, but like it was pretty cool. That same day, everything kind of turned around for our dorm chief. Like I said earlier in the video, there was like an airman's time thing that we do where it's like, what would you do or something like that, and you watch the video and then you say how you would react. And it was like somebody's mom or dad died, and the guy was in depression and like stuff like that. And then basically the dorm chief said she tried to be heartless. I think she only tried to be heartless because our MTI like always told us like we had to be like hardcore and stuff like that, but it wasn't meant to be the way she was taking it. So she basically said like it doesn't matter like if somebody dies, like it's just a dead body. So I mean, if that's how people think of their parents, then I mean that's on them, but I mean it hurt some people because some people did lose their parents, especially like one of my friends, she lost her parent, one of hers, like last year. So she was hurt by like her words. She was mad. We were all like kind of on edge after that, but it was just an opinion, so like we weren't able to really do anything about it or bring it up. That same week we did wear our blues again on Friday, and we did have our drill progress check. So we wore our blues, and we only wore our blues one time before that, and we had to do our drill progress check in there. So it was kind of stressful because we didn't know how it was gonna be. A lot of people do stress about the progress check for your drill, but it's not hard at all. Like you just do left face, right face, about face, salute, parade rest, and that's it. And it's just easy as long as you know how to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but like as long as you know how to do it, you're good. Nobody has ever failed, so you don't need to worry about it. On that same day, we had a 6-hour class because we had Beast that next week, and it was Friday. So we were excited for Beast. We were like really hyped for Beast. We had to get ready and pack those next 2 days. So we had a 6-hour class we had to sit in. Our MTI already told us all about that stuff before we went to the class, so we didn't really have anything more to learn, but we still had to be there. Yeah, basically Saturday and Sunday, all we did was pack, like all day. And it was so wild because like the day before we went to Beast, which was Sunday, we had a fire. And there was a fire, and so we had to like leave at 2020, I think, 2030. And it was like we all had to leave the dormitory because we had to leave the squadron because there was a fire, and people were like in sandals. Some people didn't have shoes on or shirts on, so they had to put like blankets on themselves. But some people were like showering, so they had to go out there just putting on a blanket or just some sheets, and you're not allowed to have sheets. So I don't know, some people just did not listen to the rules. All right, so Beast week. So Beast, we were told it was going to be 5 days, and it ended up being 3.5 days, which I'm not complaining because Beast was really hot. You're in the middle of like an area where it's just a bunch of dirt. So we went to we woke up at 4 in the morning, and we started getting ready. We slept in some people slept in their OCPs. I slept in my OCP top and my PT shorts and my OCP socks. But like, so on Sunday, we all braided our hair. We had our hair in 6 braids. So like I had a braid right here, 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 here. Just like 6 braids going back. Everybody matched. We all had our hair in braids. It was cool. It looked good. We all wanted to match and do something good for the flight. So so day 1, MREs. We had to eat MREs 2 times a day, and we got 1 decent meal at the end of the day. But it was, to me, honestly, everything was bad. Like the food, it was not good. The MREs, MRE means meal ready to eat. So we had to eat them, and it was really bad. Like I think I had horrible MREs. I got like mushroom stuff. You had to heat it up with the liquid packets, and it just like, it tasted bland, and it was gross. The only thing good about it was like they had some snacks. Like if you're lucky enough, you get like bread or cookie or Reese's, stuff like that. But I only got lucky one time. I didn't get anything that was really good. So I actually wrote it down. So the first week at Beast, we had to wake up. Oh wait, no. The first day at Beast, as soon as we got there around 5 something, we ate our MRE. We had a briefing, so we had to listen to like these 3 people talk about their suicide attempts. I don't know why we would talk about suicide attempts. I think it was like we already had talked about suicide in a class prior to that, so yeah, they made us talk about, they made us listen to suicide attempts. It was pretty sad, it was upsetting, but yeah, so we had that. For about 1 to 2 hours, we practiced fest, which is just like with our weapons, like clearing it, doing stuff in the DFPs. Like you'll know more about that stuff later on, but you have to like learn the procedures, and it was pretty cool. But it was really hot outside. For lunch, we had an MRE, and then we had 3 more classes that were like about combat stuff. You just have to like really take those classes seriously, because it's like working with it's about like if somebody gets injured, you'll know what to do. It's about how combat traumatizes people and changes people and stuff like that. And then so details at Beast are horrible, so you have to stand outside for a long time and just rake the ground, shovel up some grass and some dirt, and that's it. But I will say, like, the last meal we had, it was in the DFAC, and they had some decent chicken. It wasn't like the dry chicken that we have at the BMT dining facility. It was horrible. But yeah, at the end of the day, everybody was exhausted. I was sunburnt. My neck was sunburnt. And so you have to run everywhere. Like if you're in good flag conditions, like if you're not in black flag, which is like above 90 or something, then you have to run everywhere when you're at Beast. So people were like getting blisters, and I had like a little trick to doing blisters, like doing not getting them. So like if you roll your socks all the way up and then you roll it down to under your ankle, you won't get blisters. So then the next day, which was Tuesday, second day of being at Beast, our wake-up call is at 4:30, which is 15 minutes earlier than when we're at BMT. But you know, as my flight, we always woke up like 10 minutes early to get dressed. So I woke up 20 minutes early. We ate our MREs, did details, and then we did the claw, which is the obstacle course. So it was pretty cool. Like we just you walk over a log, you're crawling, you're doing the monkey bars, you're swinging on stuff, you're doing balancing stuff. It was pretty cool, and you're mixed in with like males and females, so it makes it more cool, more fun. You get to actually talk to people for once. And then later on, we still did more stuff with the DFPs with weapons. And then later on, we went around looking for bombs, like fake bombs, but like they show you how homemade bombs are made and how they work. So you go around and you look for them, and it's like you see how many you have and how many you can actually find. And then the third day we were there, which was on Wednesday. We woke up, we got our MREs, we ate them, and then we went to CADMs, which is shooting. Everybody was pretty excited for that, and I was kind of nervous because I've never like shot anything before, never like a pistol, a rifle, like any type of gun I've never shot. So I was like nervous because I was told like if you didn't pass, then you don't graduate. Like it's like a requirement to pass. So that was a lie. But yeah, so we went to the class. It was like 2 hours. You're learning your weapon, you're they're just making sure you know how to handle it, and they teach you the procedures, and then you go out and apply it. So we went out there, and we have like a total of 64 rounds that you shoot. So those were just practicing. You're just practicing, and then my practicing ones were like really good. So I thought, I was like really surprised, but I shot like five rounds like right around each other, like within the palm of my hand, like this, all together. So my aim was like pretty on point. It went the way it was supposed to, I guess. So then you're shooting on like one side of the target, and then the other side of the target, it's big, medium, and like super small. So you're shooting, and out of 24 rounds that they give you, you have to make 12 in order to pass. So I shot 24 total rounds, and my aim, like I got 17, so I hit 17 times, but the other 7 I missed. And I'm pretty sure if I would have taken my time, I would have done better, but like you only have a certain amount of time to like shoot it. So it's like 8 seconds per, you only have 8 seconds to like breathe in, breathe out, and shoot. So I had to like rush a little bit, but it was cool because like that was my first time ever shooting, and I passed, and I did good. And girls that like already have been shooting for a while, like I got the same score as them, or I did better. So I thought it was pretty cool. So that was like our last full day at Beast, and we were like, it was like we were so excited to just leave, because at Beast it's super hot outside, and you're just standing outside, and you're wearing your full OCPs with the mask and your hat. So the only thing that shows is like maybe your eyes. You have like a mask tan line. It's still from Beast, and it's horrible. Everybody was like really on edge at Beast because like it's hot, and you know that makes people not really want to have patience and stuff. Like that morning, there was a huge spider like in our tent, and it was like beyond. It was like probably the size of a palm. Like it was really big. It was huge. And so one of the girls killed it. She wasn't scared of spiders, and she killed it, but it was like huge, and everybody just like wanted it out because we don't want like spiders in our stuff, and like we have our shoes right there, so we don't know if there's spiders in our shoes. And then one of the girls decided to bring like a huge bug in our tent, and everybody kind of like attacked her, like just yelling at her to like get out, and it's just like the whole situation was bad, and everybody just wanted to like leave, like get out of Beast. But by the end of that day, we were all packed. Everybody packed all of the clothes and all that stuff. And then the next day we woke up and we had PT. So we didn't work out for like 3 days, and it seemed like a really long time because when we did PT, like a lot of us were struggling. Like I couldn't break 90 degrees on my push-ups. Like I could, but it was like I was running out of breath way quicker. It was weird. Then we ate our MREs, we cleaned, and then we studied for like 4 hours. And then we were able to leave, but we didn't leave until like 14:10 because we were the last flight, so everybody always went before us. So another thing I wanted to add, due to COVID, we were not able to do the gas chamber. We weren't able to do some parts of the obstacle course, like the rope over the water. We weren't able to do the combat stuff, like one-on-one. We weren't able to do like the emergency stuff when you're in combat, like dragging people whenever they're injured or anything like that. So It took some of the experience away, but I think it was okay. I didn't think it affected us that much. So more about Beast. So the tents were 20 people per tent. The floor was concrete. There was a bunch of sandbags going around the tent, so like bugs don't get in, but like that didn't help at all. And we kept our stuff in like foot lockers that were in front of the beds. We were mixed with like other flights, so like in my tent I only had my flight, but like some of the girls in my flight were in other tents with other flights. The food, so you eat 2 MREs, breakfast and lunch, and then dinner you eat at the DFAC. I would say the best stuff that I had in my MREs was I had chocolate protein, I had a pound cake, which is just like a little cake type thing.
This is so funny. Sorry.
I got Reese's in one of them. I got crackers with peanut butter. It's not the best crackers, but the peanut butter makes it good. I had applesauce and I had ravioli. The ravioli wasn't that good, but that was probably one of the best ones I had. And I had spaghetti and a chocolate Pop-Tart. Nothing was really good, but that stuff was pretty decent. So showers, oh my gosh. So the showers for the females, they only had 3 shower heads, and there was like 3 flights for females, and then for the males there was 19 shower heads. So we had to like split up, like the girls had to shower and then the guys, or like the guys and then the girls, and it was like it took forever. That's another thing, is like another reason we did our hair in braids is because you don't have a long time to shower, and it takes, like, doing your hair takes a lot of time sometimes. So like you don't have to wash your hair for that time, and it makes it easier for everybody. So the EC shifts, you're working for 2 hours, but the shifts start at 7:30. So instead of at 8 o'clock, it starts 30 minutes earlier. So you just sit outside and you either study, or like me, I didn't study. I kind of just sat there and slept, or I sat there and that's it. So a couple notes I had for Beast was like, you have to jog everywhere. I mentioned that earlier. Like there's a bunch of rocks, so like don't twist your ankle on the rocks. The boots kind of help with that, but there's some huge rocks and you can twist your ankle and like break your ankle. So you're mainly using porta potties when you're there, so like watch for bugs. Like I had to really watch out for like spiders and stuff, because where you're in the dirt all the time, so there's gonna be spiders in them, there's gonna be bees, there's stuff like that. Also, I suggest bringing moleskin. That's basically just to avoid blisters. So that really helped me a lot, so I'm sure it'll help everybody else, because a lot of people did bring it and it helped. Expect to be dirty and stay dirty, because after your shower you're gonna sweat as soon as you put your clothes on. There's no AC. I mean, in the tents, I had one of the hottest tents, so that was our luck. You know, we were always the last flight. We always had like the worst stuff, I guess. On EC, there was some stuff that was like, that did happen. Like, I remember the first day on EC, one of the girls killed a scorpion. One of the guys had a rat in their tent. I saw a coyote. Another girl got like hit in the head with by a bird. Oh, and then like something that like happened was like I like almost died at Beast. Like it was really weird. So like you're sleeping on like this hard, ugly thing, and then you have like a sleeping bag, and then you have like a net for like mosquitoes and stuff to not get in. Well, I tucked in my net underneath my sleeping bag, and for some weird reason, like I was like sleeping, and then all of a sudden I like started choking in my sleep, and like I woke up and I was like trying to get out of it, and I was trying to make like a bunch of noise, and like nobody woke up, and I like could not breathe, and it was like, it got to the point like it was actually like a real moment of like being scared. I don't think I've ever almost died like that, but I couldn't breathe and I couldn't get out of the net. I couldn't get water because my water was outside of the net, and so I was like rushing to get out of the net, and eventually like I was able to catch my breath and stuff, but it was just like one of those moments that was unreal. It was weird. And then it was like 2 a.m. and then I went outside and I just like sat outside in like the air and the oxygen, and it was just like the whole story is like weird. The whole like moment was really weird. So then after Beast, that was like our last week that we were even had anything to really do, because the next day we took our EOC. I got a 77 on it, which is not horrible, but it's not the best either. It was 100 questions, and it was just all you gotta do is study. So then our last week started Sunday. So all we did on Sunday was we played MASH, we did superlatives, so like most likely to be a 4-star general, best drill, stuff like that, so stuff along those lines. And we also like wrote down in our journals like people's numbers, Snapchats, Instagrams, and like our little notebooks, and so we can contact each other when we were graduating, because we were graduating that week. So on Monday, we got 6 new girls from a different squadron, and it turns out that they were I don't know what squadron they're from, but I just know that they were quarantined and they graduated, but they never got a ceremony, stuff like that. I don't know what happened with the situation, but they had really bad attitudes. They didn't want to graduate with us. They were telling our MTI like they wanted to speak to the first sergeant because they didn't want to graduate with our flight because we're not their flight. And one of the girls actually, like, our MTI is he called one of them to the flight office and they asked why, and he just started screaming at her because she was questioning him like why she needs to be in the office. And so it started off really bad with them, and yeah, just like it wasn't going well. And then that same day I found out that I'm probably going to be working with my MTI when I get out of here at tech school. So I don't know if he said it's like 90% like of a chance, but I'm not 100% sure. So that would be really interesting. You know, the man that yelled at me a million times in my face and then yelled at me in my dreams, he's gonna be the one that's gonna, like, I'll be working with when I get out of here. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but he was pretty cool. He was a great MTI, so it's not gonna be a problem if I do, but just putting that out there. So that next day, on Tuesday, we picked up our flight photos. I showed that to you earlier. We got our orders first tech school, which was really exciting because then we got to see like what squadron we were gonna be in, and when we were gonna start school. We did our survey, like just about BMT experience. We did an airman's run in the morning, so we like all the flights of the 322nd squadron, like we all ran together and we sang Jodies, and it was cool, but it was like you couldn't really hear the MTIs. Like it was a little bit hard, but and then our flight picture, like I showed earlier, people signed at the back of it. The next day I got my second boots. So you only get steel toe boots if you need them, which I need them, so I got them, and they're really comfortable. They're pretty cool. I don't know what type of jobs need them. So I'm aircraft armament systems K-shred, and I need them. I'm not 100% sure why, but I do. We got our flight shirts. So flight shirts is like your flight comes up with an idea and somebody starts drawing it up and they put it on a shirt. So this is how it looks. This is how ours looks, at least. So in the squadron, we were the Ghost Riders. We were the Eagles, but in the stairwell we were the Ghost Riders. So it says on the top, in black, it says never forget the fallen, which is prisoners of war. You know, we got to remember the people that are like, you know, out there going through that. And then it says flight 544. This is supposed to be an eagle, but it looks like a chicken riding a motorcycle, and it says Ghost Rider. They messed up on this shirt, but it's all right. So we had Technical Sergeant Bruckner, Lozano in the middle, and then Dunbar. Dunbar actually got moved out of our flight the last week, which is pretty hard to deal with because he was like he was a really good MTI and he left us. He got switched out. But so these are our names. This is mine. 2 girls didn't get their names on this shirt because the people cut it off. I'm not sure why, but that was our flight shirt. We were really excited to get those. I wish it was in black, but. And then we took another flight picture in front of the Eagle, which I didn't buy because I thought it was pointless to have that picture if the Eagle wasn't gonna show, and we already had another picture that was professionally done. So then the next day was graduation day. So graduation day, like, we were excited. Like, all we can remember was like counting the days down. Like, we were like, okay, we got 40 something days left, and then we had like 30 and then 20, and then we were like, we can't wait till we get in the teens, and then we were in the teens, and then we were like, we can't wait to get in the single digits, and then we got in the single digits, and then we were like, dang, like, we graduate in like 3 days, and then the next day it was like graduation. So it was really cool. We were gonna have PT, so we woke up wearing our PT gear, and then we got an announcement that PT was canceled, so we got to change it to our OCPs, and everybody was like so excited, and we were happy. People were like putting on their makeup. I don't know why, because you could not see anybody's face at all on camera. Actually, at the end of the video, I'm gonna put up my flight graduation, just like my flight marching. Before graduation, I did 3 or 4 girls' hair. So the way I do my hair is like this. Like, I do my bun, and then I braid it around. So, like, I thought it looked cool, and a lot of girls liked it, so I did it to like 3 girls' hair. So we were there, we were in formation, and we were gonna be in the back, but we ended up being in like the very front, the last row. So like 5 girls actually didn't make. Okay, so we were told that when we graduate, it's gonna be hot. You're gonna be standing at positions of like parade rest and attention for a long time. So we were supposed to be like hydrating and eating and getting ready so nobody would like pass out and stuff, and like 5 people actually dropped in my flight, and it was unexpected, but like it happened. Like 5 girls didn't get to stay there the whole time. When we did start marching, it was pretty cool because you get to see like the cameras all on you and stuff. And then when we finished, our MTI in training actually did our ceremony. So after the ceremony, he cried a little bit. He was really nervous. He was always really nervous about doing things because he had such a hard like teacher. Like Technical Sergeant Lozano always expected a lot out of him. So he always wanted to get things right, and graduation was, you know, the big day, and he did amazing, and it worked out for him. So he cried a little bit, and it made us kind of tear up because we know how hard he was trying all day, the entire weeks of training. I think the best thing about graduation was when we were getting our coins. Whenever we had like graduation practices, I kind of always teared up, but I never cried. And then I didn't cry or tear up during our actual graduation because I was so focused on getting the coin. So this is what the coin actually looks like. So, like this. So this is, that's like your Air Force coin. That's like your, it says the core values, and it says that you're in the Air Force, and stuff like that. And so I got my Thunderbolt certificate, because I got a 97.9 on my PT test. And then I was chosen to meet with the 37th Wing Commander, 37th Training Wing Commander, which was a pretty big deal. He was so he's a colonel, and then I also met with the Chief Master Sergeant Blazer, and a captain. She didn't introduce herself, so I don't exactly know her name, but it was only out of like the whole entire squadron, out of like 700 something people, there was only 8 of us that were able to go meet with him, and chosen to go meet with him. And so we went, and they just asked about feedback and stuff, and I basically I just told them how good of an experience and how great like the MTIs were, like when it came to being professional and trying to teach us what we needed to know to be prepared. Later on, I went back to the squadron in my dorm, and we just talked a little bit about, everybody kind of just talked a little bit about how Technical Sergeant Lozano was our team chief, so he was our main MTI, and then he was training an MTI, and we were his very first flight. And we were also Technical Sergeant Dunbar's very first flight, so it was like 2 completely new people, with both their first flights, and then Technical Sergeant Lozano has been there for a long time. So then we got a call. We only got 10 minutes for our phone call, but after that we got to take pictures. Like we got to take pictures like all together, and I thought it was a really good moment. Like I'm glad we got to take pictures so we can remember each other, because our families weren't able to go to graduation, and that was a really hard moment, because in our graduation there was a lady talking that just literally only talked about how we weren't able to have our families there and all this stuff, and it was hard to like not have your family there, even though they're supporting you. It's like nobody's there to even clap for you or tap you out when you're at the position of attention or anything. So it was cool to have like your family that wasn't your family, like your girls, your flight. So we packed that day. We packed everything. We had 3 bags. We had the big green bag that I showed you, the duffel bag. I had my civilian luggage, and I had a backpack, and everything was completely full. And it was like a good 90 pounds, maybe more than that. And I had to carry it, and it was like heavy. So that night I probably slept about 2 hours, and it was, we knew our leaving times, so we knew what time people were leaving. And at 12 in the morning, or like 11:40, we all were in the hallway, a lot of us, and we were just sitting there together, and we were just talking and saying our memories that we had together. And it was really hard to hear about it all over again, because we were leaving each other, and some of us got like really, really close with each other. And I just remember like telling some of the girls bye, and I was the 4th group to leave to shepherd, or 3rd, I think it was the 3rd. I left around 3. Yeah, I left around 3. So we were just like sitting in the hall, and we were just talking. And then the last thing I remember is us singing a Joey all together, because that was like our favorite one, just because it was the most catchy one. And it got like a little bit emotional. People weren't ready to see other people leaving, so I knew whenever our names, not our names, whenever our time to leave came, we got our stuff, we picked it up, and I just remember like girls were like, we were like hugging each other and telling each other bye. And one of the girls that I already knew before, she had some tears, like she was crying. She knew like we were leaving, and it was a pretty long experience, like good relationships that we had built, so it was hard for all of us. But we were ready to go. We were ready to just ship out and be out of BMT. That same day, actually, like so the main, like, we all had to say bye to each other, and our instructor, like, our instructor, he's kind of just one of them. He's one of those people that he's like a former Marine, so he's always like, you gotta be hardcore, like no crying and all this stuff. And the way he left us, I think was it was rough, because like we all built a professional relationship with him, and we all respected him a lot. And the way he left us was like, we were packing and we were happy, and he came out of the flight office, and he said, 7.5 weeks ago I gave you your first command, and today I'll give you your last. He said to take care of ourselves, stuff like that. And then he went to attention, and then he called us to attention, and we went to attention. He called us, okay, so he went to attention, he called us to attention, we went to attention, and he said dismissed, and we went at ease, and he left, like he just walked out. And that like kind of made our hearts drop, like that was it. Like there was no more yelling, there was no more screaming. It was kind of sad, like, to watch him leave. But there was no other way to do it. Okay, so last thing I'm going to mention is just like some tips or notes for basic training. So like before coming, I'm gonna make like a before coming and after coming list, because there's like some big pointers that I could remember and that I wrote down. So before coming, practice your facing movements. Like don't swing your arms, don't bend your knee. Just like look up videos. I don't know. I'll probably like make a video for drill, because there's a lot of things that they do look for. Learn to march. Don't be one of those people that like marches like high, doing high knees or something, or like swinging their arms all the way out, and because people will make fun of you. I just remember a lot of people made fun of a lot of people for the way they marched. Learn your reporting statement. So like when I was in basic training, my reporting statement is, ma'am, trainee Benavidez reports as ordered, or sir, trainee Benavidez reports as ordered. So just keep it in mind, and you need to learn it, because you need to say it all the time. So another thing, I overpacked when it came to my hygiene products, because you only get half a drawer, which is probably like a good 8 inches of a drawer. So you can't have a lot of stuff. So I had to put a lot of stuff in my civilian luggage, and I had to like downsize my packing. Another thing, know how to do your hair, like with gel and hairspray or whatever you're gonna use. Learn how to do a bun. Don't make it look bad, because some people look like they just woke up like every single day. Keep small pictures in your drawer, like maybe like Polaroid type pictures or something of your family or your spouse or kids or whatever, because it really does help. And when writing letters, I suggest pre-writing them, like not pre-writing them, pre-making them, like with the address and stuff, because you're gonna have a long address. And don't Do not cut your hair prior to coming. Like, healthy hair is harder to work with because it'll fall out like way easier than like damaged hair. And a big one, you need like to work out before coming to BMT, because you will struggle and you will get recycled and they won't care. So working out is a big one. During BMT is a different thing. So those were the tips before coming to BMT. But when you're in BMT, some tips would be like volunteer for stuff, because it really puts your name out there. Always say your reporting statement. Don't be shy and don't act shy, because the MTIs want people that are going to be teammates, not somebody that hides in the back. Pay attention to detail, to what you're doing. Make sure you always have everything triple checked, that you have everything that you need. Don't take the yelling personal. Some people want to cry and do all this stuff, but you don't need to do that. You just take it as it is. When you have to count, okay, always sound off. When you're having to yell, you need to yell. You need to memorize what you have to do. If you don't, you're gonna get yelled at. Always keep your military bearing. If you forget something, if you don't know something, just don't react, because they're looking for a reaction. If you give them that, then they're gonna yell at you and scream at you. I just remember one time I forgot my bottle, and my MTI was having a really bad day, and I was like, even though everybody else had their bottles, you always have to have a bottle. I forgot mine, and like, I acted normal even though I forgot it, and I really thought I was gonna get like yelled at and screamed at, but I like kept my military bearing, and nobody noticed. Another thing, don't move at the position of attention. It's disrespectful and they will yell at you, because I got yelled at about 3 times for moving at the position of attention and the position of parade rest. So you're gonna get yelled at. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, you're gonna get yelled at. Just try to be clean. Don't take like a 10-second shower, take like a 20-second shower, 30-second shower, because you're not gonna have a lot of time. Some girls got like 30-minute showers, but like instructors like mine, we had 5 minutes for 40 girls to take a shower. So that doesn't mean like being in the shower for 5 minutes, it means getting undressed, taking a shower, and get dressed within 5 minutes. So, and there's only 6, I think, shower heads. So you don't need to shave. A lot of girls didn't shave. You don't need to wash your hair every single day. Just do what you need to do. So that's about it. That's all I could think of. I tried to write down stuff daily, trying to fill in the experience, see if that was gonna help. Try to really build bonds and relationships, because you're not gonna have your family right by you all the time. I'm in tech school right now. My school starts on Friday, and I mean, you're gonna have to meet people, you're gonna have to meet your friends, or meet other people, meet friends. Right now, we're on the first floor for like kind of like a quarantine type thing. And I have 2 roommates one's from the west side, and then one's from the east side of the squadron we were in, because we were in the same squadron. But you're gonna have to meet new people, so don't be scared to meet new people. Put yourself out there, and don't give your protein bar to anybody for anything. So thank you for watching my video.